to talk to you, the regular Joes.
To movies and toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joes podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
I'm Todd Pleasant.
And I'm Brian Mix.
Brian's here, and we do have something to talk about.
Oh yeah, we do.
Plenty. I think for a couple of weeks we've been saying we're going to talk about Robinson Crusoe on Mars. I think me and Brian are the only ones excited about that, but we're going to talk about it anyway. And we're going to talk about Brian's offering. So the whole thing about Robinson Crusoe on Mars, I love it. Barry may be questioning about it, and that's why we want to talk about it. Now, Brian suggested Planet of the Vampires. That could be the same situation where he loves it, and I don't know about the rest of us. But we'll get there. We don't know.
We'll get there.
There's worthwhile things in both. So,
and they're both from a similar era.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
That is
era.
1 year apart. Yeah,
very interesting era of sci-fi, I think, and a lot of it was on the 4:30 movie in the tri-state area.
To that end, Dave, I know we're not discussing it yet, but I think this is the first time I've actually seen Robinson Crusoe on Mars in its entirety. I think I've seen cut versions because there's scenes in this I do not remember, and I know I've seen this movie like 3 times on TV.
Oh, I'm sure they cut it to pieces.
But
if that's where you saw it on the 4:30 movie, then they at least cut.
That's what I'm saying. I know I saw it,
like,
and it fit, perfectly within the time parameters. But it was like watching it. I'm like, I don't remember that. I don't remember. And I have really good memory of stuff I watched as a kid. And yeah. So
that movie, I don't remember the timeline, but I saw that in like one of those Saturday night creature feature things that they were not cut apart the way they were for the 4:30 movie. So that's where I saw it the first time. I don't know if it wasn't Chiller Theater, but sci-fi movies Saturday night at like 11 o'clock. So anyway, we'll get to those. But unfortunately, as we record this on September 9th, James Earl Jones just passed away today. So we wanted to take a couple minutes talking about him and, obviously an icon, not only for Star Wars, but voice of Darth Vader. I mean, come on.
Voice of CNN.
Yeah.
I mean,
CNN,
crazy.
Yeah. But,
crazy because we know him as the voice of Darth Vader we grew up with, but his career, I mean, I looked at his IMDb today and it's like insane how many things he's
freaking done. Mufasa. Okay.
Yeah. Conan.
Mufasa. He's an EGOT.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was an EGOT until today. Yeah. I don't think
Oscar
I knew that.
Tony. Makes sense. I mean, especially for him. I mean, Field of Dreams.
When I looked it up, he's got 3 Tonys, 3 Emmys. He got a Grammy and he got an honorary Oscar.
Huh. So there's not, unlike Philip Michael Thomas, whose plan was to be an EGOT. I remember seeing an interview with him way back. He's like, when he was at Miami Vice, my plan is to be an EGOT because I can do everything. You didn't even get it for the one thing you did on television. So sorry.
Never got even the E.
You didn't even get the E. But anyway.
You didn't make it to the first letter of the alphabet.
It's ironic. I was upstate. People think I live upstate, but I was further upstate yesterday. And we were driving home and we went right by Pauling. James Earl Jones lived in Pauling and I couldn't. It's only about 40 minutes from here. I always say, let's stop and say hi to James Earl Jones. Not that I knew where he lived, but, and then I was literally right in his town, and he passed away at home in Pauling. 93,
what I
and as
read.
we were discussing before the show, a good run. You know, we've made the definition that anything 85 and above is a good run, at least as we
Yes.
sit here at this age. But
Until we're 84. Yep.
yeah.
Yes.
So
And he was the voice of the Dark Lord of the Sith, and he was the king of Zamunda. I mean, and apparently
And
the
the king
of
yes,
of the
that's true. He was
Lions.
actually really good in. I just saw that
The
like,
original
a week ago.
Admiral Greer in the Tom Clancy film.
That's true. Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, he was in all those.
Yeah.
He was the heavy in Conan. Remember?
That's
Yeah.
right. He was in
Oh,
Making
God,
people
yeah.
walk off a cliff.
God, I
was
forgot
James Earl
that. He
Jones.
was Thusa Doom.
Yeah,
So
Tulsa Doom.
And let's not forget his great cameo in Big Bang Theory, where
Yes.
he was
Yes.
like,
I like Star
that
Wars
was an
too.
excellent cameo.
Yes.
I like
Yeah.
Star Wars too.
Yeah.
And he's the one who said, "Where's
And
Major Kong?
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. Yeah.
What was that?
Where is Major Kong?
Dreams, yes, yeah.
Where is Major
Yeah,
Kong?
yes.
It's from Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop
Yes.
Oh,
Bringing
that
Love
I
the
didn't-
Bomb.
I don't
He was
remember that.
He was the bombardier on the B-52.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I
That was his
remember
first
that
role.
only because I only just saw that for the first time a few months ago.
Oh,
Dr.
really?
Strangelove. Yeah.
Now, Barry, you showed us a picture of his that you had. Did you meet him to get it autographed, or was that a mail?
I never met him, but going back like 20 years ago, there was like a mail-in, like a send-in autograph thing and that he did. So you could order his signed photo, and they personalized it. So I have a photo of Darth Vader that says, "To Barry, may the Force be with you, James Earl Jones," which is just awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I have just his name, but for the longest time, up until like 5 years ago, he would still sign stuff through the mail. He had an address here in Pauling, New York. I think he had a theater company or something, and you could send stuff there. And then I had sent something in. I got a notice like, no, he stopped signing. I think his health was starting to decline back then.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 years ago.
It was my
so.
wife was asking me when we were eating dinner if I was ever aware of him doing shows, and I don't remember him ever being at a
think so.
convention.
Oh, I don't think
But
so.
I know he
No.
did the mail-in autograph.
He would sign
thing,
through the
so-
mail for free, pretty much.
Yeah.
But no, obviously, I think his voicing of Darth Vader is iconic. And is anyone else voiced Darth Vader in live action?
There were a
anyway?
few people that they did, but now it was just within the last few years. They've got it computerized now based on every line of dialogue he ever delivered, and he had given them permission or signed away the right, so they can use his voice now forever as
think-
Darth Vader.
I don't love the idea of AI in certain instances, but I think if this makes sense.
In this case, I'm okay with it. Yeah,
I don't think anyone else should be Darth Vader's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a guy who went by the name of Chad Vader, who actually was doing the voice for a little while. But, and it was pretty close, but it wasn't. James
Chad
Earl Jones.
Voice like
Vader.
officially,
It
or
was
No, there were a few things official. I think some video games and maybe even something else. But yeah, they went back to James Earl Jones. And you could tell the older James Earl Jones versus the younger.
Yeah.
But now with this AI stuff, it just sounds perfect.
Yeah. And that's perfect. That's the perfect kind of use for this. It's a character that you don't see their face, and it's a voice that can't be replicated by others. And, I'm sure we'll see Darth Vader again someplace.
I hope so.
Yeah, I would imagine
Yeah.
we will, whether there's ever a second Kenobi or, everything is, well, there'll be something.
I would still love to see that movie or TV series of Vader at his worst. Like the last 10 minutes of Rogue One, I'd like to see that as a feature.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Just
we'll
him
ever get
killing
that,
everybody.
but- well, him being the big bad of the galaxy.
Yeah, there's
we
those-
never
I have
really
a-
saw it.
I think it's Dave Dorman painting where it's him leading stormtroopers with like laser bolts everywhere, just, decimating people. Almost what they sort of did in Force Awakens with Kylo Ren, but, I would love to see that in that classic era.
Yeah,
That'd
that's
be
what I'm
cool.
saying. I mean, it doesn't have to just be a murder fest, but I would like to
Yeah.
see something where
I'm gonna say
you get to
that's
see
a
Vader.
tough assignment for a writer. Okay, Darth Vader is the the big baddie in this episode, and you can't kill
Yeah.
him. Who's the good guy?
they did a
But
good.
if he had a mission of some sort,
in the Marvel Darth Vader comic run, which I haven't read all of. I read a lot of the first series. They did a good job of kind of walking that line where he wasn't as evil as that, and sometimes he made choices that like didn't kill everybody when the Emperor wanted to kill everybody. And it was kind of like every once in a while you would see that kind of split personality thing, the little glimmer of humanity in there, and which kept it from being just like serial killer Vader. And so you could do something like that where, he's kind of fighting those impulses and
if you brought in and I'm not saying it needs to be Dr. Aphra, but if you brought in somebody who was sort of could play against, like in those comics, then at least it wouldn't be just all Vader all the time.
And that's what I'm saying, where there was, and also you got to come up with people that are worse than him.
I suppose if you had a list of Padawans who were trying to kill him, or acolytes they call them, trying to kill him, then you could kind of make it,
It's kind of like the Godzilla principle, where
Yeah. I think if they did do a second season of Kenobi, you could do a standalone episode of Vader doing his thing, and that could be him trying to hunt down Kenobi again, and you could do all that stuff in an episode, which I think would be cool. I don't know if a whole movie would work for it, because
or even if it was something along the lines of the Force Unleashed video game where he was training an apprentice. I mean,
if you don't
think that he would have never had another apprentice the whole time he was.
If you don't use Kenobi and you just call it a 4-episode show called Vader, it could be really cheap because you don't need any faces.
Yeah.
It cost any money.
Well, I'm sure Hayden Christensen would want to do it, and he probably comes relatively cheap compared to.
He could do it though, like you're doing Mandalorian, where Pedro Pascal's almost never on set.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's yeah.
But all right, Lucasfilm, there's our ideas. Please pick and choose what you like. Let's go random. Barry, you have 7 of them. What do you got?
No, I'll scale it back. So we know about this Alien TV show that's coming to FX that I didn't realize until recently that. Okay, well, the title is Alien Earth.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So it takes place 30 years before the events of the first Alien movie. It's already finished filming. What does it say here? It says, they will explore the dark and complex universe of Alien from its beginning. The story will focus on the operations of Weyland-Yutani Corporation and its experiments with robotics. So Ash and Bishop type stuff, and David from the new movie.
So it's Alien without aliens.
It
no,
aliens
are in it.
Without aliens.
I don't think that's true.
Premiere
30 years before the first movie? How's it going to be an alien?
30 years before the first movie.
I thought I read something that says it takes place between the 2 movies.
No, that's the movie we just saw.
That's the movie we just saw. I bet we see aliens. Who says they were the first ones to see them?
But this thing is set on Earth.
How would Weyland-Yutani know to send someone to get this organism if they hadn't been planning it all along?
I have not seen these. Where did the Alien Predator movies take place?
No.
Well,
nobody cares.
Predator, that Prey movie took place on Earth in the Indian.
I know Predator did. I know Predator did. Where did Alien versus Predator happen?
I don't remember.
On Earth. On Earth.
Was it?
Okay. So
at least one of them was.
They were late. No, they were in the future, I think, weren't they? I don't think anybody knows.
I'm not even going to pretend to know.
Someplace online there's a chronology of when everything happened.
I think we'll see aliens.
I'm sure
I think it's in the past.
I don't see how you can do it without showing aliens.
I'm sure they'll show aliens. I guarantee it.
I mean, is it possible that they could be
Wait, did you see the
Earth,
teaser? The teaser was there's a 30-second teaser which shows the Earth or something, and it sort of pulls out and there's an alien's head. We're gonna see aliens.
Okay.
I didn't know what was going on when I read that article and saw that little theory. I'm like, oh, this is. I thought it was going to take place in present day Earth, which I think is stupid. I'm glad it's in the future.
It's in the future, but in the past from Alien.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wow.
Maybe this is why they sent. Okay, if in Alien, they must have known this organism existed for them to make the ship stop there to go.
No, it was a distress
complete
call.
Accident. Yeah,
it was a distress call, wasn't it? It was like
it was, but the whole mother thing, Mother knew they were a perfect organism. I don't think they just discovered it.
No, they got the distress. They stopped because they heard the distress beacon.
Yeah, Mother, because
the
no one's ever seen an alien species ever.
Exactly.
Mother was heard.
They had an
imperative. Stop.
To stop and investigate any
alien radio
contact. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm sure we'll see aliens.
We'll talk more about that shortly, though. I think so.
Well, anyway, the series is going to premiere in the middle of next year, so in the middle of 2025.
Anyway, I was more interested when I read that article, even though we haven't done it justice.
Well, the Weyland-Yutani stuff would be good. I mean, we don't really have a lot of background on that company, so.
No.
Yeah.
No. What do you got?
So last Wednesday, the highest rated Apple Plus TV series returned for its 4th season with a perfect 100% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah, but there's only one review and it's
overall
yours.
Average of a 98 score for 4 seasons, which is totally unprecedented. I'm talking about, of course, Slow Horses, universally loved by everyone but Dave. So, and the first episode was
literally a killer episode.
Literally a killer episode, and following the 4th book in the series, and very closely, and really, really well done. So, for those of you capable of enjoying it, I highly suggest you check it out. So,
I'm pulling a Ted Lasso on you, and I'm not going to watch it.
I'm telling you, when you get there, you're going to be Ted Lassoed.
Yeah.
You really will.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I watch it every time I need to fall asleep.
Well, because it's slow and it helps you fall asleep.
I've only seen 2 episodes. It was a little slow for me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, did any of you? I know it's not a new show, but did any of you watch The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix?
No.
Nope.
No.
I'm 2 episodes into it. I needed to. I like it, but I needed to take a break after the 2nd episode because it was pretty horrifying. Dave wouldn't like it. It's horror-esque.
Someone was in it famous, right?
Carla Gugino's in it, and there's a bunch of other people in it that you'd recognize. But yeah. No, that was Gina Gershon.
I was going to say, yeah.
They're the same.
There's a G there. I'll tell you just while we're on. So I, prompted by our conversation last week with the ladies, I picked out a show with Karen that I thought she would like. And so we are 4 episodes into The Perfect Couple. Have any of you heard anything about this?
Oh yeah, I saw that last night. I saw it. I didn't watch it though yet. Yeah. Is it any good?
It's actually not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's basically, bad shit happens to rich people and they bring it on themselves. But so
it's like the Real Housewives.
Is he Ray Donovan-esque in it? Because I saw it. I'm like, oh, it's
not at all Ray Donovan-esque. He's just a dude making some bad choices. And but Nicole Kidman continues to look really good. So, but
it's great surgeon.
It's only 6 episodes, and I got to say, as much as it's not the kind of thing that I would normally watch, I think I'm enjoying it. So.
Well, and the thing that I was intrigued by on the Fall of the House of Usher is that all 8 episodes are each one is themed after an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yeah.
And it's
Which
a story
the Fall of the House of Usher is. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So and so far I would say recommend, but not for Dave.
Yeah.
It's pretty gory.
And certainly not for Pam.
In that same vein.
No, but Marie's watching it, so
Pam doesn't like anything gory.
And we're cutting this short. You finished Umbrella Academy?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Dave did not start or finish it.
I saw the first season, I think.
Okay. Anyways, it's done. But I'm
glad
like
it's done.
I like this show a lot. It's they wrapped it up, and that's what they had 6 episodes.
It had a good run, and it was time.
Yeah. And I think that
it needed to end, and they ended it. So
you can only blow the top off so many times, and I got to say they didn't cop out with the ending. So it wasn't probably what a lot of people wanted to see, but they,
No, I want to go back and watch it again from the beginning. I think it would be interesting.
Yeah.
See it all again.
Did you see the post-credit scene?
Yes. Yep.
There was one. Okay.
Yep.
It was brief, but there was one.
Yep. Yep. So.
Okay.
All right.
Brian, what do you got?
Star Trek. I was looking up Strange New Worlds, and at Comic-Con, I guess they previewed a picture, and it is the captain, Uhura, the security guard, and Nurse Chapel all made up as Vulcans.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yes.
Romulans.
There was a little clip of that.
Vulcan.
There's actually like a 30-second clip of it online.
They played at San Diego.
Oh, okay. Are they Vulcans or are they Romulans?
No,
They're Vulcans.
they're Vulcans.
They're Vulcans.
They take something to infiltrate Vulcans or something.
It's Enterprise Incident, but Vulcan.
Well, but it's worse than Enterprise Incident because it's not just looks. Their
They take on their mannerisms.
They basically,
Vulcan.
kind of like are like DNA rewritten to be Vulcans, and with the idea that it's temporary and it's going to wear off, and that part fails, and so that's what you get in the 30-second clip. And so, they're like dissing Spock for not being Vulcan enough.
Oh my gosh,
it's awesome. So
it was a good clip.
That should be fun. That's not coming until next year, I don't think, right?
Yeah, 05 or 25, they said. Yeah,
we're not that far off.
Yeah.
But
we've wrapped up shooting like months ago.
Yeah.
I guess the special effects must be deep.
what do you call it? Lower Decks comes in October, I think. Didn't they announce that? I thought I saw that.
I thought it was, it's coming up pretty quick. So
October, I
it's
think.
probably October.
Yeah, interesting.
I thought Lower Decks was canceled.
This is the last season.
One more season.
Oh, one more season. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's good.
Dave, what do you got?
I had the aliens thing. I also have something. Oh, it's funny. They're talking about everybody who's been in Guardians of the Galaxy in the MCU being considered for roles in the DC universe. So Mantis is in talks to be Huntress.
And
they
even
were
all
Chris
James
Pratt-
Gunn's people, so
Huh?
they were all James Gunn's people. So
Yeah. So I'm fine
Makes
with
sense.
that. I mean, she looks different in every movie she's in,
Yeah.
so I think that
Yeah.
it'd be hard seeing. It'd be hard seeing Chris Pratt looking as himself being in, but it's fine to do. I mean, people could do both, but it'll be interesting. So that's really the only other thing. Does anyone have anything else? Barry, you can get one more.
All right, I'll just throw this one out there. So Natasha Lee Bordizzo, who was in Ahsoka, she basically said at a convention she was at that Ahsoka Season 2 won't begin filming until after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So I think we're pretty far off. I know Dave Filoni's writing it, but I think we're probably pretty far off from Ahsoka Season 2.
After after that movie's shot or premiered?
I'm guessing that they mean until after it films, which I know it's filming now.
Yeah,
but
so that's not that. These things shoot. It's a movie. Shoot 60
but they
days.
shoot it and then they do a year of post production.
Right,
Yeah,
it's got to
but-
go through post.
I think they talk about shooting. I guarantee it's the same crew, probably on the same volume.
Probably, yeah.
So I bet it's shooting schedules are super short these days.
If that didn't come out, I wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
Ahsoka Season 2, yeah.
There's worse. We've seen worse.
There's been worse Star Wars since
You know
Ahsoka.
where there is not worse, Fanboy Collectibles? There's only better. Hot Toys Beetlejuice figure, which actually I won't in the commercial describe my hatred for Tim Burton, but no, I don't mind Beetlejuice. But actually, that figure actually looks really good. So that is available for pre-order. Exo 6 Dr. Crusher available for pre-order.
Ano Studios Iron Man.
I was
classic
getting that
Iron Man
1/6
figure,
scale comic version of.
which I can say, Sideshow did one of these like 3 years ago and crapped it up. Put a whole bunch of like circuits on him and all this kind of stuff. Took the traditional costume and tried to make it look modern. I don't know. Anyways, this is legit, straight up original Iron Man suit.
It's like if you took a Mego Iron Man and made him real.
I mean, it looked. I know I sent the picture to you of this a couple weeks ago, and it looks unbelievable.
It looks unbelievable, and they even gave him the original mask, the first red and gold mask with the points, the peaks on it.
Oh wow!
This is awesome. God, I'd love to see them do a Daredevil like this. I'd love to see them do a couple other comic accurate figures that So yes,
Iron Man works so well because he's in a suit, and it just looks great.
But it looks fantastic.
So that's up for pre-order. There's also in stock. Did you see that premium format Hal Jordan Green Lantern? That thing is 34 inches tall. That's awesome. But there's Pops and Sideshow and Kotobukiya and Hasbro and So Toys and whoever the hell was making this thing. Todd, who was that again?
Hono Toys, yeah.
Hono Toys. Whatever toys. There's everything they need. Everything you need, they've got. So check those guys out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them Regular Joe sent you. Okay.
Which one do you want to do first?
In 1964, the most scientifically accurate film was made. It says so right on the poster that both Brian and I have.
Can we talk about that poster for a second as part of this? Because I saw that poster at your house recently. The poster is really cool. I really, really like the poster. And it does make the claim that the film is scientifically accurate and it's only one step ahead from present reality.
Where did they come up with that? I have no idea.
It also doesn't depict a single thing that's actually in the movie when you look at that poster.
Well, Brian, I'm sure, knows more than us about this, but I'm sure, especially back then, they would paint poster art from the script, not necessarily from the finished product.
And it was the object was to get people in the theaters. Who cares how accurate it is, right?
Yeah.
No, I get that.
It's fairly accurate.
Same thing with Forbidden Planet. That never happened. Did that robot ever carry her around?
No, he never carried her.
It didn't look like
never happened.
Anne Francis whatsoever.
It was a cutscene.
So,
but when you look at that poster, the spacesuit doesn't look like his spacesuit. The laser doesn't look like his laser.
No.
The spaceships don't look like the spaceships.
It's from the script.
It's a great poster, though. It's a great. I'm not dissing the poster in any way.
So Barry apparently has a problem with a movie. Let's just set the scene of the era. Forbidden Planet comes out in 1957. The next, although I don't love it, the next breakthrough science fiction movie comes out in 1968, right?
Yeah,
Brian,
2001: A Space Odyssey.
2001: Space Odyssey.
Well,
and Planet of the Apes,
Voyage,
same year. Yeah,
but I'm talking more space sci-fi.
I think.
What? I'm talking more space sci-fi.
Fantastic.
I mean, there's Planet of the Apes, Fantastic Voyage. I get all that, but the sort of in space kind of stuff. There's those, 5-6 years that there's all kinds of stuff made. To me, this is one of the better ones.
In 1964, they thought Mars had an atmosphere. They thought there was water in the canals of Mars.
Well, they had traditionally, and I think by the 60s, they knew that wasn't true, but it was easy for storytelling purposes. It was pretty easy to continue with that on that.
Most people wouldn't have known.
With like the John Carter kind of thing, and just be like, oh yeah, it's just the gravity's different. But I think in the 60s, sci-fi kind of fell into the domain of TV. And I think it became a TV thing. I think between Lost in Space, I guess Outer Limits, Star Trek, Lost in Space, whatever. This was probably really one of
Lost in Space and Star Trek both came out after this movie.
Right.
They both started
I'm saying
after
from this movie. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm explaining the glut though. I'm saying that the why there's not because it was a thing you could see on TV. It would have been really hard to pitch a sci-fi movie, I think, during this time and get, unless you were doing something radically different like 2001 did. So, or this movie just killed the industry entirely.
No, there is a lot. Again, and before the show we talked about the 4:30 movie and the Saturday night midnight movie. There's a lot of bad sci-fi. Certainly between 57 and 68, there's a lot of bad sci-fi. And there's a handful of good ones. The thing, despite it being sci-fi, and I'll just say before Barry says how he hates it, what draws me to that is I've always loved the story, the Robinson Crusoe story. I know it takes place in the 18th century, but you can translate someone trying to survive. I love that. I think Brian, as a maker, also probably loves that whole idea of trying to build things to figure out how to live. That's what always drew me to this movie.
And as a kid, you always, I built myself a cardboard Mercury capsule because I want to go into space alone. It's not, and that's the thing of being in space alone with your spacesuit and your oxygen tank and your wits, and that's it.
And that's what this guy had to do.
Yeah. So that was the appeal. Because
survival, figuring it out.
Didn't find any appeal in this movie. So
in the 1960s,
that itch went unscratched from 1965 until The Martian. So, yeah.
I got to say, The Martian is really similar to this movie.
The Martian,
as I said,
totally
was remade. Remade not The Martian.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it's very
absolutely.
Other than him being stranded on Mars, there's nothing about
and
the two movies.
The general here's the pitch. An astronaut stranded on Mars, and he has to use his wits and his training to figure out how to survive and live in an environment he can't live. That's the pitch for both those movies.
It is, but it's also the reality of being stranded on Mars. So,
I'm just saying.
But Mark Watney was a likable character, and Draper was a dick.
I didn't really get that.
I don't know if he was a dick. I think he was just.
I thought he was kind of a
to who.
Well, first to Adam West when he thought he was there, and to the monkey, and even to Friday when Friday first shows up, and then Friday tries to kill him, but then all of a sudden they're best buds.
Friday didn't try to kill. Did you see the same movie? Friday didn't try to kill him. Friday
was messing with his equipment.
He wasn't doing that out of malice.
That was trying to figure out what it is. Yeah,
he was trying to figure out what it is, and. You meet an alien for the first time, you're a little wary of him. I never got Draper being a dick to him at all, or anybody.
I think that they became friends, but I think at first he was
wary of him.
I think he was also 1960s male. Okay.
I was going to say, if you met an astronaut on the Mercury 7, that's him.
But also,
exactly.
Let's go back
I think this is.
I think it's true, but I'm watching it through current day.
Let's go back to Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. There is a Friday character, and it's the same story.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, they give us screen credit to Daniel Defoe.
Yeah, it's totally take off of that.
Yeah, but
I didn't get that at all. I got to give this. Hey, I got to give this guy credit. I don't think he's the world's greatest actor and all, but he basically had. Carry a movie by himself and have enough dialogue. I think they were smart to put the monkey in, so he had someone to talk to. I was just going to
say, wait a minute, no, you undercrediting the monkey right there. So,
no, that's what you're right. The monkey is a good device for him to talk to somebody.
Yeah,
even the monkey got tired of him. The monkey kept running off because he didn't want to be around Draper.
The monkey saved his life. Barry saw a completely different.
If the monkey
Barry saw this through a lens of
the water.
Dave hates Willow, so I have to hate this.
No, here's the thing. Listen, you've talked about this movie for years and how much you like it, and I could have stopped watching it at any point. I watched it all the way through. I sat through the whole movie. I never saw this as a kid. I have no affection for this in any way and no nostalgia for it, and I just didn't think any of it was good.
Science fiction doesn't begin until 1977 for some people. That's the problem.
Well, let's talk about the other movie in a minute. I actually kind of liked that one. So,
oh my God, really?
Yeah. Okay. It's very American. Okay, it's very, very, and these are actually two really good films to juxtapose against each other because this is this just kind of reeks of America in the 1960s. This rugged individualist kind of guy that just he can do. He's probably going to die, but he's still recording his logs because that's what you do. And
somebody's going to find him and they'll make use of him. Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. And
they stole that now with video in The Martian.
Yeah, exactly, and that's same exact deal.
It was amazing when he put that giant thing together that I thought was a weapon, but it was really a camera. And somehow he managed to get all that amazing footage, but didn't see any of it until he went back and watched it on his little screen.
Well, yeah,
What was
60s
wrong with
TV.
that?
Are your
There were no video
did not
cameras
do-
back then. That was
are
ahead of
your
its
earliest
time.
recollections?
Didn't work for me at all.
Your earliest recollections of this film. Do you remember seeing Adam West's hand in the crash? I don't. I think they cut that.
I'm
cut
sure
that,
they
yeah.
cut that out.
I think they cut that out because I remember being like, him looking and my being, oh, he's dead. And then but because I remember I saw the hand with the ring and it was just like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
By the way, Barry, none of the astronauts who walked on the moon saw any of the footage they shot until they got home.
That's true.
But they were facing what they were filming. They saw it with their eyes. He didn't see any of it with his eyes. He just didn't see it until.
Oh, because he was sticking his camera.
Yeah,
up
because
over
he
their
was
head.
trying to stay away from
Now, I will say
bad
he
guys.
was
Didn't work.
mysteriously non-pulsed for a guy who'd never seen an alien, and all of a sudden there's an alien in front of him and alien spaceships attacking him, and alien slave hoarders, and he's like, okay.
Can we just talk about the alien spaceships for a second? Okay.
Well,
Sure, let's do that.
It used to bother me, okay? Because I believe it or not, I kind of felt like they had, to make this movie, someone had destroyed the models from
War of the
War
Worlds.
of the Worlds.
Yeah.
They didn't. Those are the same shots. They took the same shots and reused this. They edited them. Okay.
what did they? But what about the little arm? Did they?
I'm telling you,
mat them out.
They just
Yeah,
matted
they
them
matted
out.
it
Those
out.
are the same shots. Okay. I went back and
Interesting.
I rewatched. Okay. When they appear, the way they fly, everything like that is exactly. So they had, an overlay, however they did it. That is the same. That is the Martian, the Martian footage from War of the Worlds just dropped onto another film.
Their special effects budget was low, no question.
Oh
I mean,
God, it was
the spaceship
really,
flyby
really,
was
really bad.
definitely
Yeah.
a cardboard cutout flung by the camera. But hey, it was 1963.
But
It's not
that's the thing.
important.
To me,
1963.
there's all those other movies, the Living Slime, and all those crappy space movies, and
Yeah.
this had a good story. I mean, I don't. I would give you credit for you coming up with something that a reason to hate it, but I don't see him being a dick or the whole thing with the video camera. I mean, that was
I
not
didn't
something anyone
enjoy
saw
it though.
before.
Like I just felt like stuff was happening, but there was no emotional resonance to any of it.
How
And
Well,
we
that
figured
makes
out how
sense.
to
If you thought he
survive,
was
I
a
still
dick,
watch
you
it and
didn't
I
care
get
if he
excited
ate it or
by it.
not. Yeah, that makes sense.
Brian, where do you put
I
this
just-
in
yeah,
your
I just
sci-fi
didn't like it.
movies? Let's say pre-modern era.
Oh, it's up there. Because and Barry again doesn't remember between Forbidden Planet and Star Wars. There was nothing. It was
Nothing good. There was
desert.
a lot. Nothing
It
good.
was- it
well,
was,
What I'm saying,
maybe not
saying-
movie wise, but I
Yeah.
mean, I watched a lot of Star Trek as a kid before I ever saw Star Wars.
I'm even saying I'm even saying before all that.
Yeah, we had to. I mean, Silent Running was like woohoo! Silent Running,
Yeah.
the science
and that's
fiction
not
movie in
great.
the theater.
Yeah. I saw this in the theater, Brian. They showed it at the Alamo
Really?
5 years ago, and it was me and I brought Mark and Pam, and there were like three
on a
other
double
people.
bill
but
with the Martian.
huh?
On a double bill with the Martian, maybe.
No, it was they.
Did
show
Mark
all
and
movies.
Pam like this movie?
No, I'm sure she didn't.
I'm
love
just
this movie.
curious because I'm assuming neither of them had ever seen it before. Like I had never seen it, but
No, I had shown it to them on video. I have the
so
Criterion.
you've tortured them
video.
twice with this piece of trash. Okay.
Oh my
Mike,
god,
Mike,
it's such a good movie.
My wife bought me the Criterion Laserdisc of this movie for my birthday.
Laserdisc.
This year or
No,
back
not
when
this
there were
year.
Laserdiscs?
This is
Back when
20 years-
Laserdiscs were a thing.
This is 20
Just
years
to-
ago. Back
just
when
to be
Criterion
cruel.
Laserdisc.
No, Brian, I hate to tell you, it's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Laserdiscs are 40 years
40
ago.
years ago.
I had a
No.
Laserdisc player in 1982.
Oh yeah, but they ran for
Well,
a while.
no. I mean,
They-
I
they
got
were
married,
got
'cause-
married, and that was
'cause-
80. That
no,
was
the-
80.
the,
that was 90.
I had
Yeah,
the
no, they
first.
ran through the early 90s because
Yeah.
I
It was 10-year run, maybe.
Yeah, because I was running films for my college in the 90s, and we were still buying laser discs.
Yeah.
I think they were making discs. I don't know if they were making but it didn't. But no, it was 1982 was the first. I think, or maybe
Well, that's when they
81
first came out, but they
But I'm
were
saying,
in their heyday.
I'm telling you,
in
in
the
90
late 80s.
95, 96, we were still getting laser discs in at the college. At.
Sure.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
I
I
still
worked with a
have
guy
my-
that
I still have that Criterion laser disc downstairs.
I have a couple laser discs,
Yeah.
but I have
Because
the
the
remote
cover
to
art's the
my.
same as our poster. That's why I kept it. It's gorgeous.
I have the
gorgeous
remote
cover.
to my Pioneer. That was the original laser disc, and it was $1,000 machine, and I bought it on sale for $400.
But I remember when I first got exposed to laser discs was in the late 80s with a guy that I worked with, and into the early 90s they were still pretty popular.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the
Well, I think
Criterion
people would still keep them. The image was better than anything you'd see anywhere, but you still had to play it on a crappy television. That was the problem.
yeah, it's
And you had to flip
640 by
'em over.
480. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I had,
all right.
I had
so
the player that flipped it for you, but there was it wasn't seamless. You had
No,
to
because
wait
you had to
for it
stop and spin the other direction. Yeah. My roommate had one of those.
Yeah.
that's fine. So
Well,
Todd, thumbs up or thumbs down?
I always give this a thumbs up. Okay.
Thank
I mean,
you.
you got to look at it in the context of its times. I mean, I watched everything like this in the 1960s and 1970s. This was something I rewatched every time it was on.
Mhm.
And because it was Mars and yeah. I watching it now. And again, like I said, I don't believe I ever saw the entire film. I think
No.
I always saw a very cut version. It's slower now than it was. But still, it's, it's a sci-fi fantasy thing from the 60s.
The gear he had was real gear. He was wearing
Yeah.
a real
Oh, yeah.
pressure suit
Yep.
and a real pressure
Yep.
helmet, which after seeing all the bubble-headed spacesuits from the 50s movies, and you saw this guy in the actual spacesuit. It's like, this is real. That's what makes you think, oh, but it is scientifically accurate. It is real. He's wearing a real
and that's the thing. And I
spacesuit.
think the
And
equipment
even that
he
video
had-
camera was probably a prototype type of
at
video
the time,
thing
yeah.
in 1964. Probably.
I think the
were
equipment that he
the
had
air
was-
pills real air pills, or was
no,
it
those are foreign.
just
That's
real
not
space
that's
Those
sauce?
are
not
alien,
space
those are
camera.
alien air pills. Yeah.
But I think that's where they could get away with that, saying that is because I think they were buying like real technology and adapting it instead of like making up stuff from just whole cloth.
Yeah, even the Martian had atmosphere on Mars when there's no atmosphere on Mars. I mean, you can't blow
Yeah.
over a spaceship on Mars, and that's the
No, you
first
can't.
scene in
Yeah.
the movie.
No, it's yeah.
And last question. So it's 3 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down. And Barry's wrong. We all know.
Well, you know what? You got to give me this one only because I like everything.
I was just gonna say it's the one.
I
But
should
I don't
have
think.
liked
I
it
think.
this,
I
but
don't
I
think
just
you
didn't.
appreciate old stuff the way some of us do.
He's not old enough.
No, I don't know that that's true. I love Forbidden Planet. I there's a lot of stuff I
But
like.
you're not allowed to watch Forbidden Planet anymore. We've
you
decided.
can't take that away from me.
Barry, the day the Earth stood still.
Love the Day of the Earth stood still.
We're
The
not
Keanu
talking
Reeves
the Keanu
one?
Reeves one, right? We're talking the real one.
No, we're talking about the original.
What
Just
about
'cause Jennifer Connelly's in it.
What about the Thing from Another World?
That's a great movie.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Really?
You never saw the original Thing? The Thing?
Black and white Thing from Another World.
James Arness.
1951, right?
I don't
That's
think so.
pre-
We watched the thing, but we watched the Kurt Russell and the other one.
No,
we
this
didn't
is
watch
the
that one.
original.
Didn't we?
Original,
We should
original.
watch the original. The original's good. There's certain themes I like in movies. One, and when they're done well. One is someone trying to figure out how to do something or survive or whatever. The other thing is anyone breaking into a vault or out of a prison, and then sort of that trapped
thing. Yeah.
that trapped thing like the Thing, and having to like figure a way out of it.
Like Alien. You're trapped
Like
on a
Alien,
spaceship with
like
an
the
alien,
Thing, like the other
You know,
two things.
it's also I really, really love The Martian, and I just wonder if watching this, it's just to me, it just pales so much to that. Maybe I don't know.
Martian
They are
would not exist if
50
this
years
movie
apart.
didn't exist.
Yeah.
No, I get
50
that.
year
I'm not
difference.
trying
Yeah.
to make the comparison. I'm just saying, like, I've seen in my mind what is a much superior version of this movie. So nothing about it worked for me.
That's sad.
All right.
So AI is now to the point where we could merge those two movies. Just think about it.
That would
Mark
be, that would be
Watney,
awesome.
like
That would be
laying out
awesome.
his solar panels, and Friday just walks over to him.
They should have had an homage to him singing like that Mars probe.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. There. Brian, do you know of anything from this movie ever come up, like prop wise or anything?
Only paper.
Really?
Only posters and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I think I saw a script go by once, but that's it.
This was the kind of stuff where everything was rented from our prop house and the
It all
costume
went
house
back
and went
into
back
circulation because,
Yeah.
and it was used in war movies and stuff like this, and whatever else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before we shift gears, that just brings me a thought. Do you remember? So I don't know if it was in the second Greg Jean auction. They had Forbidden Planet costumes that were painted silver. Do you remember seeing those?
Yeah.
They just had one in the recent. I think it was in the prop store auction. They're claiming those were in, the Time Machine.
Yeah, that's correct.
And they did not. How did they not know that when they sold them the Greg Jean? Someone knew because they did go for a lot more money than we thought they would.
That is correct. Now that you mentioned it, I've noticed that before. That Philby, when Philby's running around in the future, he's wearing one of those things painted silver.
Yeah, and they literally,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
tell it's like fabric that's
Oh,
stiff.
Yeah.
God,
from being painted.
I never
Yeah.
ever picked that up.
In this recent auction, and I think it went for decent money. They credit it to the Time Machine. They didn't in the Greg Jean auction. That's interesting. Had I known that in the Greg Jean auction, I would have bid on it. But I think it went for decent money. Anyway. So Brian wanted us to watch Tell us why you wanted us to watch Planet of the Vampires.
Well, I want to watch Planet of the Vampires because it is so obviously influenced Alien. It's clearly
With acknowledgement. I mean, people
Yeah.
have said, yeah.
Yeah, and I love the look of it, the Mario Bava Italian, the black leather spacesuits and the plot of a ship crashes on a alien planet and you go down to rescue that ship and all the people on the ship are taken over, are vampires or zombies or taken over by
that's
aliens.
the thing. There's no vampires.
There's
in this.
no
Why do
actual
they call it
vampires in
zombies?
the movie.
not as
Well,
very
again,
zombies.
it was an Italian movie, so the actual title isn't Planet of the Vampires. That's just what they called it in America.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes, the Italian version translates to Planet of the Body Snatchers, but it was already used.
Yeah.
So
That makes perfect sense.
That makes more sense, yeah.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, I had never seen it before. I think all the design and this plot, I really appreciate. The writing and the execution of the story, I think, is just horrible. But
an Italian-American movie, right?
Yeah.
You recognize those voices. And I was like, I've heard that voice before. Is that Dr. Quest?
That's right. Yeah, this is not the voice that's coming out of this body.
Yeah, you can tell it was dubbed, but or voice replacement or whatever.
Everything was ADR back then. Certainly Italian movies. Everything was put in later in Italian movies. Yeah. Even if they were speaking English on the set, the spaghetti westerns are the same thing. It's all dubbed in later.
So when you get right down to it, the alien crash beacon from an alien planet, okay, that you follow to the planet, you end up in distress yourself. Most of your crew die. I mean, then the derelict ship with the oversized creatures who
the engineers,
paradoxically had control panels that were scaled to humans.
But there were even one or two shots outside of the derelict ship that when they were looking up, it was the same. It was
totally the shape of the
same
derelict
shape.
Oh yeah, no, I mean
derelict
there's an homage there. There's no question. There's an homage there. But I found that really, really cool that, because again, the giant skeletons and stuff like that. And
there's 5 or 6.
Have you ever seen this before, Todd? I know Dave and
I
I
have never seen it.
before.
I've read about
I've never
this.
seen it.
I've read about this, in numerous articles in books about Alien, and how a number of people acknowledge this as a inspiration, and this was, I tell you, I liked it a lot better than I expected I would. There was some really
Me too.
There's some very interesting things in there. I think the twist at the end was interesting.
Yeah.
There's actually two twists. There's kind of like a twist embedded in another,
Yeah.
But it's the spacesuits were funky as hell. But
one of the twists I saw coming, and the other one I didn't quite see coming. So
that's what I'm saying. It's
Right.
like that kind of, yes, and that was
They went all. Speaking of that, they went all in on those costumes. A lot of times you see these movies, and they have two good ones, and the others don't match, but they were all in on those leather costumes. I think that's where half the budget of this movie went.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that they went to somebody that made motorcycle racing gear and said, "I need you to make
the neck.
Well, the
this
space
piece up
helmets
here.
were basically motorcycle helmets.
Oh, I know that, but I'm saying
and no tanks,
the gussets
even
at the
though-
shoulders, and all that kind of stuff.
But it was a cool look. There's
It was.
I thought that the high collars and then the leather headpieces together were a really interesting
the high
look.
collar was probably where somebody got the idea of the vampire thing.
I love
Because
the
they
one
looked at
guy
stills.
takes it off
They looked at stills
because it got so annoying.
and they were like, "Oh, it's
Yeah.
they got Dracula collars."
Even
that
the
was
ship stuff. The ship parts felt a little Forbidden Planet, like
Yep.
sort of the
Agreed.
Krell. But
Yeah.
it was funny because then the other part of it felt very Flash Gordon from the 30s. It's like, oh, we have a studio. Let's use the whole studio.
whole thing for
Let's
the ship.
make a giant interior
Why
for
is
a
there-
ship.
Why is there such a giant set?
15 steps across one panel to
Yeah.
the next. Yeah.
Yep.
And they, I mean, and I realize at the era it was made, but every panel that they scanned, and they scanned a lot of control panels in this movie, it was all just toggle switches and flashing LEDs. There was
Yeah.
nothing other
Nothing
than
labeled. Nothing labeled
Boy,
at all.
you spent a lot of time training to learn what all
You know what
what
that
all those
light
switches
does.
did.
A lot of ships are like that.
And yeah. Then the other thing was the I could say the meteor repeller thing. That was
was cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
That was an
Yeah.
interesting concept because like a lot of people didn't really get that is one of the biggest issues of traveling at high speed through space is basically everything that you bump into tears you to pieces.
Yeah.
And so they had this system, but then they know that the system is the most critical thing, yet they just kind of like nobody guards it, nobody locks it.
It's
They
a
don't
big
protect
plot
it, yeah.
device, though.
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was cool. I actually really liked that, and I love how they were like 999, one more to go. Like,
Yeah.
like they were counting how many meteors they deflected with it.
I just wish
liked
the
a lot of
story, the execution of like the script was better because it was just so a mess. All the broad strokes were great, but the like
Well, there was a lot of jargon, and I wrote down a few of my favorites. 2 fractions of a megon. I thought that was
they
interesting.
totally made stuff up like that. That was great.
They had the ionoscope.
Yep.
They had a photonic ignition and an infra ray.
Yeah, but
That's clever. Most movies
for its
don't do that.
time.
Yeah.
No, and I these are the things I enjoyed about it. I was like,
and
Yeah.
to their
I was expecting a cheesy mid-60s science fiction movie, and it was actually felt a little bit more hard sci-fi than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I get obviously it's not like the other movie claimed where it was scientifically accurate, but
It was.
Well, when
and you know what I
saw
really loved, which was crazy? Their laser rifles looked like Star Wars figure rifles would look.
Yeah, well-
but like in full size.
I also like
Simple but really cool.
I also liked that the ship design was very unique, which made sense later, but it was very unique, and the whole how you exit the ship was very non-traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
You know,
wasn't the simple.
The
door
landing pod
opens
things
kinda-
were and then which was brilliant though because all I had to do was make one of those giant landing pods and then just keep posing people around it, and because you saw those come down.
The other interesting thing is, and I don't think there is a second of anything that's not a practical effect. There's zero opticals in this, except maybe the video screen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of those video screens looked a lot like a guy standing behind a hole.
It could very well, but even if you really noticed, I mean, the little flip up things on the wrist, those had to be in effect.
Yeah. There's no way.
But the ship landing was, I mean, not great, but totally live. And even if you notice, the laser guns were just a flame shooting out. They didn't even take $10 to do an optical for a laser beam. There's no opticals in this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. Mean, I would have liked to seen a few, but I give them credit for doing sort of everything in camera.
One of the things that I thought just was funny was when they're in the alien spaceship and she touches that thing that shocks her. And then the other guy immediately goes and touches it himself, as if like she got shocked so badly that she was in pain, but then his immediate reaction is to touch it himself.
It didn't knock her out though, and she's only a woman, so
exactly.
A guy has to try it to see if it's actually.
Hey, I got to say though, there were a number of times where they're like, "Okay, you're a girl, but here's the gun. Stand guard."
Yes,
the thing that got me is like,
this was like
everyone's on their own.
As I
stand by yourself there.
Yeah.
I texted you guys. It seemed like whenever there's like a away mission, whenever you had to bring one of the women. It's totally indiscriminate which one, but you had to bring one of the women along so someone could scream loudly.
But I also couldn't keep track of who was on guard, who went missing. It was a little convoluted there, but that's fine.
But and the concept that they would. Yeah, they did all look alike.
Yeah,
the concept that they were burying their dead crew members under like giant metal plates.
But the ending makes sense of that. That makes sense. It's like and I also like that the two different ships had different badges.
Different colors.
Yep.
And the insignias were, the rank and stuff. There was thought to the design of this for sure.
I was just saying. Some thought went into this, and that they also had randomly an alternate uniform.
That was random. Yeah, away uniform.
They put it when basically the other suits just stunk too much.
Yeah, no, but that was sort of Forbidden Planet-y. They didn't wear the same thing every day.
But it's like where they wore that is not. If you're going to investigate the alien ship.
Why wear the orange?
Yeah, do you want to strip out? Do you want to wear the lightweight stuff? But it worked better with that interior.
But even the zombie prosthetics look pretty good for when this movie was made.
Yeah.
When the guy opened his jacket and there was
I love when his jacket fell open.
It had the classic '60s two red blood problem.
Yeah. Oh,
but they all did. They all did then.
Yeah.
I wrote down one other line of dialogue just because it cracked me up. If there's an emergency, we meet in the atomic generator room. Sounds like the wrong place to meet in an emergency. But I'm not dissing it. I actually kind of like this movie.
You can't,
and maybe it was because it was so much of. You could see all the origins of Alien. Maybe that's why I like it so much.
This. It's just like, all right, let's take that movie and just make the story make way more sense. But
I kind of enjoyed this. I'm glad you introduced this one to us, Brian.
Yeah,
and this is another one of your favorites. You claim to have this on 16 millimeter as well.
I did. I had this on 16 millimeter. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That's crazy.
In the original Italian, or
no, it was the same one. Same.
And this copy we found was really good.
Really?
It was really good.
And it actually had surround sound on it too, Dave. I don't know if you noticed that, but it wasn't. It had surround sound to it as well.
Did it really?
I watched it down in the movie theater. I didn't really notice.
Yeah, I watched it down here in the basement with the Atmos system, and it sounds really good.
As I said before, there's kind of a double twist at the end, and one that we find that the crew has been overtaken.
All of them, and the one guy
except one.
The matinee idol looking guy is soon to fall, and then we find that they're not from Earth. When
Yeah.
they find
Yeah.
this nearby planet that they're gonna, because they always referred to the home world and and our planet, and I totally missed that. I assumed this was like
Yeah, that was clever. That
Very
was
Twilight
different.
Zone ending. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
a very Twilight Zone ending. I didn't see it coming, which was really cool.
so.
Did we ever see these spacesuits anywhere else?
No.
That's interesting.
Mm-mm.
Probably in an Italian motorcycle movie that we've never
I was just going to
seen.
say,
They're probably they're probably still someplace in Italy.
I'll have to go look at Diabolique a little more closely. Same director, but same vibe.
No.
That's the funny thing. Like in Italy, they're only 80 years old. A building's 1,000 years old and it's still new.
Yeah.
So interesting.
I liked it, and I'm like I said, I did not expect. Again, I'd heard the alien attribution stuff.
Mhm.
I didn't expect it to be this on the nose. I mean, the
what Barry pointed out, that shot of the ship, that whole shape is just right out of
Yep.
well, not right out of Alien. It is Alien grabbed that thing.
It's so clearly inspired Alien.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it,
Even when they first went into the alien ship, there was some really cool camera angles in there, and they were shooting through, like, from the vantage point of the doorway, looking in. I just thought it was really. I didn't go into it with any expectations, and I think that's why I enjoyed it so much.
With a title like Planet of the Vampires, it does set the bar kind of low.
I was going to say, you don't have a high bar, so
it's no Robinson Crusoe on Mars, but I did enjoy
Thankfully.
it. Barry, I was going to say, do you have another old movie for us? Barry's got one from the 90s, from 1999 when he was a mere child. The Last Starfighter. Do you want us to watch The Last Starfighter?
No. Maybe Enemy Mine. We'll watch Enemy Mine.
Oh, that was just not good.
It's not good.
No, Brian, do you have a 60s and any other 60s favorites that you
I'll
could
have to think about that.
Think of?
Think about that. I'll come up with some. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I mean, not Robot Monster, but somewhere in this genre.
Yeah. Okay. Let me think about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll come
Brian,
up
did you
with
ever watch
something.
The Invisible Boy?
I did watch The Invisible Boy. It's actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the unofficial sequel to Forbidden Planet.
You just have to like separate yourself from it's like, yeah.
Well, Todd, have you seen the original of the Thing from
Yes.
the world?
Oh yeah.
You have. Okay, so only Barry's missing that one.
Yeah.
But
And
have you, Brian? Have you watched the 2011 Thing prequel?
Yes,
Prequel.
the prequel.
We
I
actually
see the
did a
prequel.
show about
Yeah.
that because it was sort of missed everyone's radar, but it's actually pretty good.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty
I
good.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's pretend to make a remake, but we're actually making a prequel.
Yeah,
Which is
it's
just
clever.
like the first movie, but it's what happened before the first movie.
But
Yeah.
the way they tied them right together with those shots and stuff was clever. It's nice discovering a movie that had no one knew about really, and then it was like, oh, that's better. Like I feel like Alien Romulus is a little like that because it was like, is this going to be any good? It seems stupid, and then we see it and we really like it. Have you seen it?
No,
Right.
I'm waiting for it to come
Oh.
to streaming. I'm not gonna go out. I can't drag my wife out there. We got to see Beetlejuice first.
Did anyone see? I haven't seen. Did anyone see Beetlejuice?
I'm gonna wait for the second weekend, but we'll probably go see it.
Ty, you didn't see Beetlejuice?
No.
Good. Barry?
No,
Okay, I thought you guys would care
thought
more
about
than me.
it, but
I don't care. I don't plan on seeing it in theaters. I'll see it on the.
if thinking about it counts for anything, then I thought about it. But other than that, I didn't make
Yeah.
any effort to do it.
Okay, that's good. All right, let's do a quick what's in the box. Barry, do you want to grab yours and we'll do you last?
No, you skip me. It's okay.
Okay. Brian, what's in the box?
Well, mine's really small. I just I picked this up at Las Vegas because it was a remainder sale at the Trexperts table for $5. They were selling Todd's collection of this is it's hard to see.
Tholian?
It's a Tholian. Yeah, it was the only ship left that I recognized.
Yep.
I picked it up for $5.
Was that an Enterprise
Oh,
Tholian?
okay.
Is that an Enterprise Tholian? How do you tell? I don't know. I haven't even taken it out of the box yet. I mean, that's
It's probably got more detail to it than the one from.
Yes. Oh,
it definitely does. Yeah, it definitely
COS.
does.
Yeah, I think that's the Enterprise Tholian. Still
Okay.
cool. Still very cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's mine. What's in the box? Yeah.
Todd, what you got?
Okay, so I have the long-awaited
Oh, gosh.
Mantis figure from the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Did
So-
they make another Mantis
No,
figure too?
that's the only Mantis
This
figure
is
they
the
ever
lone
made.
one. So with this, among the accessories I will never use are the ugly green holiday
Oh, that's cool.
candy cane. Actually tempted to put with her this little tiny skirt thing.
Put that on her for Christmas and put it near the Christmas tree.
and then the she's got the little Christmas ear things. The
Oh,
little
gosh.
Oh,
thing. Really, really nice figure. Very, very well done.
Oh, yeah.
Eyes
Yeah.
are
There
great.
was a knockoff figure of that,
Eyelashes.
and this looks so much better than the knockoff one did.
Oh, God.
Is that the
Todd's got
knockoff?
them both.
That is a knockoff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's
head
terrible.
shape is completely different.
Soon to be on eBay, people. If you want to see it with surprisingly large breasts.
Look at that.
So
Not properly proportioned at all.
someone will buy that figure, I promise you. But the detail's really, really good. It's done. It's perfect for a costume and comes with a prerequisite several hands. I mean, that facial expression is great.
Yeah.
And it does have the like the X06 Spock. It comes with a conjoined set of kind of praying hands or whatever hands.
Oh, that's cool.
Kinda cool.
Yeah,
It's
she does
it's
that
really
a lot.
neat. And then she's got her like sleep hand, and then a stand which says the holiday special on it, which I'll never use. And but yeah, no, it's cool. I've wanted, like I said, a legit. I think this is probably my last Guardians figure that I don't have any one of. So
Do you have a Thanos figure?
I have a Thanos. Yeah.
You should put her on the back of Thanos, hanging on his head. Sleep.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So I think I'll be getting I don't know what you call Groot in his last form, beefy Groot. I'll be getting him, and I'll be getting the dog, and then I
Oh,
think
gosh.
Oh, Cosmo. Yeah.
Cosmo.
I think I ordered Cosmo.
And then I
too.
think my Guardians collection is finally complete. But it's like I said, just a really, really great looking figure. And I don't think there's a lot of these out there. I think this is a figure that it was pretty small in numbers. And like I said, again, very kind of odd that it was from the holiday special. The other thing that she's got, which is kind of cool, a little pair of sunglasses, which are just like, yeah,
Those are tiny. Wow.
Oh, that's
very
fun.
tiny sunglasses from when she's roaming around Hollywood. So
I don't think I'm ever going to get a Drax figure, unfortunately.
yeah, I don't get why they've teased it like 3 times now, two additional times, and never pulled the trigger on it. So
Yeah.
But anyways, that's my
So since I didn't go, I will just say, I know we texted about it earlier, but actually, Hot Toys does this occasionally, and I actually give them a lot of credit for it. They put up for pre-order the Obi-Wan Kenobi figure from the Obi-Wan TV show like a year and a half ago, whatever it was. And just today they released pictures. They decided to go back and redo the head sculpt and make it way more accurate. And they released pictures today of what it's actually going to look like when it comes out. And it is a big improvement over, not that the original head sculpt wasn't good, but so much more accurate. Like it's nice to see that they actually take the time to go back and look
They've
at something
done
and
that
go,
with a
yeah, we
number
can
of
do
things.
better.
The last Iron Man figure, there was a huge difference in the Tony Stark head sculpt from the way it was put out there originally. So yeah. Dave, you got something?
I have something. I have a little something. We talked about this book that came out. The Little Golden Book, A is for Alien. Children's book about Alien. It's got a lot of nice drawings. So they go through the alphabet. I'll just read you one of them. K is for Kane. He doesn't feel well. His tummy is rumbling.
Wow. I think
It's hard to read this. I mean, you read it in about 2 minutes. It's hard to read this and sort of take yourself out of the movie if you were reading it to a kid.
It's pretty
I
funny.
guess it could be very tame, but you really know what's actually going on. But
A is
Does
for
it
aliens.
stop at X for xenomorph, or does it go all the way to Z?
it goes well. No, it goes xenomorph. Z is for
Sleeping.
sleep, I guess.
Oh, with Jonesy.
Sleep
So that
tight,
means
Ripley.
if A is for alien, that means they don't do Ash. Ash isn't in the book.
Ash, maybe. Well, let's see. I thought they do Ash. Oh, well, there's a picture here that H is
He's
for
under,
help.
he's under V is for
Brett
vivisect.
has found the alien.
Yeah.
I think there's Ash in here, but it may be something else.
Oh, okay.
D is for Dallas. Maybe there is no Ash. I'm sorry. I'm going through the whole book.
I guess it's only 26 pages.
Oh, yeah, here. S is for secret. Ash the science over knows one or two.
No.
There he is.
There you go.
That's him in all one piece. But it's actually cute. $5.
Yeah.
It's cute. They have actually done a Planet of the Apes one. I didn't realize that. It's on the
Oh.
back.
For the old school apes?
Yes.
Okay.
Not the
All right.
Marky Wahlberg. So anyway, it's cute.
Ooh,
if you
that's
need something
cool.
for you, if anyone who has a child, it's good to get them started early.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what's in the box. Okay.
I've got some relatives that have recently had kids that I think maybe I would torture with that book.
There you go.
They wouldn't know.
No.
Kids don't know. They should learn early. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for sharing
Sure.
Planet of the Vampires with us. Sorry, Barry, that you can't appreciate.
Yeah, this would have been a
more
rough
of-
episode if there wasn't something to counterbalance the Robin Crusoe.
I don't know that
There's a lot
Space
of
discussion.
Vampires or whatever counterbalances Robin Crusoe. But anyway,
Dave, we gave it 3 thumbs up. The Planet of the Vampires. Thumbs up or thumbs down on Planet
I'll
of the
give it a
Vampires?
thumbs up. Yeah,
Thumbs up?
I mean,
Oh yeah.
I could look past it's just horrible script, but there's good bones there. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
a
good
lot of
bones.
it. Like, the intent is
Literally.
fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Big bones, actually.
There you go. Rest in peace, James Earl Jones. And thanks for listening.
Sure. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.